Hey guys, Speed here, back with another Dota 2 video, and today I'm going to be going over why OG is able to pick Ember in the first phase. Before we jump into the video, I want to let you guys know that you can check out guides just like this one made by top tier pros over at GameLeap.com. We have thousands of guides that can teach you the game of Dota 2 in depth and help you gain MMR much quicker than you usually would. Now let's jump into it. So Ember for a while was extremely unpopular. Ever since PMS went away, the hero has kind of been very hit or miss and only picked from time to time by professional teams. OG is now first phasing this hero, and the interesting thing about this hero is that it can be played in the safe lane or mid lane. The power of this hero, I believe, is its strengths with Chen in addition. So how they run this hero and how they make something as greedy as an Ember Spirit work as a second pick is by having another hero that is extremely synergetic. Fire Remnants work spectacularly with recall because you can gank a lane and then go back to your original lane, or you can TP to base and then get recalled in, or you can just get recalled in general because your hero has a ton of mobility and will pretty much always be able to show up to the fight and catch someone. So having a hero that has great initiation range with Chen is super beneficial. So that is why they pick it with Chen so early. I'm going to skip ahead and I'll see you in the game. So here we are, game 2 of Alliance vs OG, and something I just want to note about Ember Spirit is that he received many changes throughout the new patch. So for his hero, if you go to Ember Spirit briefly, we're going to notice that he didn't receive anything too crazy, right? However, what he did receive is a big buff to Sleight of Fist at level 1. It was 30 seconds at level 1, now it is only 18 seconds, which is a big deal. It makes this ability much better in the early game and much more spammable. So I don't want to go too much into the laning stage, but what I do want to note is Topson did not cast Flame Guard until he hit level 2 Flame Guard. This is important to note because Dragon Knight can break Flame Guard, and so can many heroes, until it is level 2. So this is something you definitely want to consider in your own Ember Spirit games, where you simply do not cast Flame Guard until the second wave. In addition, he made a priority to cast it pretty much right away, right? He wanted to push out the lane and force a little bit of pressure onto the DK. Here you're going to notice he actually considers trading, but realizes better of it. But in general, just waiting for that Flame Guard to come up, because he wants to be able to push in the lane. Also, Flame Guard and Sleight of Fist have quite a large synergy. I'm just going to pause and talk about it briefly. So pretty much, the idea behind the two spells is that one obviously burns over time, and then one keeps you alive. Sleight of Fist is actually one of the better defensive abilities in the game, simply because it makes you invulnerable for a large period of time. So if there's a melee hero, specifically a melee hero, even ranged heroes in the early game, that are on top of you, using Sleight of Fist will overall increase your DPS by a significant amount, or at least the trade value, simply because you're getting bonus hero damage, and in that duration you're not getting hit, but you're also taking them with Flame Guard. The combination between these two spells are actually much better than they might first seem. In this clip here, you're going to see he hits level 4 and actually almost kills the DK. Really close actually. However, just really effective trading, right? He's using the Flame Guard to zone the DK out of the wave, and this is definitely one of the better Ember Spirit matchups. Here you're going to notice he picks up his bottle, and because of this, he's able to pick up a kill onto the DK. So this is the potential strength of Ember against melee heroes. This strength isn't necessarily possible against a lot of ranged heroes, but against DK, or even sometimes like Timbersaw, you have this potential to get solo kills, which really benefits Ember Spirit. Definitely one of the best heroes, simply because the farther ahead you get in this lane, once you get one kill, you're typically able to get 2 or 3 more, simply because of the hero's potential in terms of offensive aggression. Okay, so upcoming here is the second kind of potential for Sleight of Fist. You can use it to try to dodge spells. If you're not familiar with the hero, you can easily dodge spells like Queen of Pain Dagger. That is one of the most notorious, maybe not notorious, but famous and most common ones that you would dodge with Ember Spirit. And you can pretty much dodge anything. So he tries to dodge the Breathe Fire. He gets hit. It's not a very easy spell to dodge. But what's important to note is that he did try, and it's actually not too hard with a little bit of practice. Jeez, that was close. It's a spell that has a lot more value than it might first seem. It might just seem like a Sleight combo and a DPS spell, but it actually sets up for dodging a lot of spells, in addition, as I said, increasing your overall Flame Guard DPS, simply because you can stay on top of a target, even if you're low. So it's around the 6:30 minute mark and he is making his first rotation. It's an interesting rotation because he is going to the top lane, and it actually almost doesn't work out. Luckily, they do end up catching the Shadow Demon, but you notice he makes a priority to focus on killing the cores, right? A Shadow Demon kill is nice, but it's not too great. However, the Dragonite TP's in, so kind of a dangerous situation, and this is why things like this are typically the reason why I say you kind of want to be a little bit iffy when ganking, because if it doesn't work out, it actually costs you a lot. It can cost your mid tower if you're against a DK, or it can cost you a lot of XP and gold, so you really want to make sure your ganks are going to work out, and that's why, as I talked about in the Lina CC&C guide, that you really want to communicate when you're ganking. You know, I'm sure his teammates were very knowledgeable that he was coming top, and as a result they are able to pick up a kill on the Luna, and even more important than the kill in my opinion, they were able to force the DK rotation, which prevents him from trading with the mid tower, which would be really nice for him. So now let's talk about the new and improved skill build for Ember Spirit. So Ember Spirit with the Sleight of Fist buffs has been experimented with this new build, and in addition with phase boots and the buff to drums, all these items are now a lot better for individual play. I'm going to pause here only because he is getting recalled. So you max your Sleight of Fist, but you always put 2 points in Flame Guard. It is crucial that you have 2 points in Flame Guard simply because it is significantly better at level 2 than level 1. So you want to make sure you have that. And what Topson did was he got a point in Searing Chains, you'll remember at level 4 in this replay, to try to pick up a kill on the CK. But I have seen many Ember Spirits, Topson even, who skipped the Searing Chains until he maxed out the Sleight of Fist, and had 2 points in Flame Guard, of course. If you do have kill potential in the lane, then consider getting Searing Chains. Otherwise, it is pretty decent to skip it, as this almost acts as a disable, simply because you can catch people from so far away with it. Now, he's getting recalled, and this is the power of the Chen Ember Spirit, right? Out of nowhere, you just have an Ember Spirit in your bottom lane, and obviously, it almost doesn't go too well. But once again, Sleight of Fist just showing the power of it, right? It does so much damage. Does end up going down. A really nice play from Alliance, actually, reacting so quickly to that. It's really hard to react to those type of things. So definitely impressive play from Alliance, but you could really see the potential power of Ember Spirit Chen, right? He's quickly able to get onto the heroes in the bottom lane, and once again, if Alliance wasn't so quick with their reaction, it probably would have been a double or even triple kill. So here we see a cheeky play from Topson where he uses his previous remnant to get back to the bottom lane and actually pick up a kill. So that's something really cool you can do with Ember. If you're ever dying or close to dying, throw out a remnant, and when you respawn, you can just go back to the lane and you don't have to expend your TP, which is a big deal because with bots, it's not really a problem if you're going for bots Ember Spirit. But with this phase boots build, you don't have the luxury of constantly being able to TP everywhere. So saving a TP and using a remnant instead by casting it right before you're about to die is a great way to either catch people off guard or just save your TP slot. It really has quite nice value. I also want to point out a few more synergies that OG has with this Ember Spirit, right? They clearly know how to build around it. So Chen, in addition to having recall and being so good with Ember Spirit, also has Divine Favor, which works with your Sleight of Fist. So it's quite a bit of bonus damage and can be really effective. And clearly they have one of the most popular Ember Spirit combos, which is Magnus. It did get nerfed quite a few patches ago, but it is still quite effective. In this upcoming clip here, you're going to notice true discipline from Topson. Once again, the defensive value from Sleight of Fist coming out there. I'm going to pause and just talk about that. Whenever you get ganked as Ember Spirit, your first reaction should often be Sleight of Fist rather than your Remnant, simply because Sleight of Fist does not require you to turn around, while for the Remnant, it often has a slight delay. If we go back, I'm just going to quickly go over it, where it's not really instant, but if you are in Sleight of Fist, it's a lot more instant and a lot safer, right? Because it's just a much better ability for getting quickly off and avoiding spells. However, here he gets stunned up, but once again, he's very patient. You'll notice here, he once again casts a Sleight of Fist to escape and not instantly casting the Remnant. What this also does is it overall increases the amount of DPS you're going to do over time. Notice this Earth Shaker has already taken quite a bit of damage just from tanking 2 Sleights of Fists. And now that he has saved his Remnant and not panicked, because he was very patient, he's able to make a catch onto 2 heroes. Unfortunately, Seb messes everything up. No, I'm kidding, it was a fine skewer, but overall, just very clean play. Whenever you're playing Ember Spirit, in order to become the best Ember Spirit possible, you have to learn how to push your limits and not overreact. This hero is a lot more survivable than at first glance, simply due to the defensive capabilities that Sleight of Fist, especially maxed out Sleight of Fist, provides you with. Seb once again making some big plays. Just gotta point that out, you know, Seb God. I'm kidding. Big fan of Seb. I respect his work. But here he makes an interesting play, and I actually want to show this off. So something you guys might not have known about Ember Spirit is that if you are in Sleight of Fist, whichever unit you are attacking in the Sleight of Fist is where your remnant will come out of. So if I slow this down here, not too slow, but slow it down here, nearly gets the Sleight of Fist off. This is actually pretty crazy how close this was, like 2 HP. As you can see, when he casted the Remnant, because the Sleight of Fist was on the Shadow Demon, that's where it came out of. And I don't know if he did this on purpose. It'd be pretty insane if he did. But it allows him to escape to the side, because the Remnant comes out from the left rather than from the middle. Pretty cool play. As a result, he gets all the way over here and gets his wand off. In fact, then he gets this really nice Sleight of Fist, and he actually ends up living. So, once again, the patience and the capability from Sleight of Fist is a true reason why this hero might become popular again. You're just so hard to kill, and with max Sleight of Fist, you do so much damage and are super hard to kill. It's just a really nice combo, especially in addition with phase boots and drums. You're always ready to fight. You do a ton of damage, and drums got changed, if any of you don't remember. Now they gave 35 attack speed and 13% movement speed, which is really, really good. Really, really good for the early game. And as a result, it makes Ember a complete menace in the early game, especially with the Sleight of Fist build. You're constantly pumping out damage, and you do get 18 damage from phase boots, so pretty nice synergy there. I don't want to go too into depth about like the skill build, but another thing you want to note is that he actually does not max out the Flame Guard here. Because you're maxing out Sleight of Fist, after you take 2 points in Flame Guard, it's important that you start maxing out your Searing Chains, because the cooldowns match up when they're maxed. Not exactly, obviously, but pretty close, right? 6 and 8, and this is really nice. It helps you keep up your tempo, and overall just do a ton of damage. So the third item in this build is Maelstrom. It has really, really nice synergy with your Sleight of Fist, because it is probably the highest DPS item for Sleight of Fist, simply because every unit you hit has a chance to get procced by Maelstrom, which overall is great for pushing out lanes, and just does a ton of damage in fights. The Maelstrom procs are a ton of damage. If we go over it right here, some reason it's bringing up Sleight of Fist, but it's 160 magical damage. That is nothing to laugh at. Every 6 seconds, you have a percentage chance to get a 160 damage nuke. That is really, really effective, considering they bounce, and you can get more than one. Let's look at how Topson performs this upcoming fight. You notice that he plays quite defensive here. If we check the enemy team, they have a Blink Dagger on the Shaker, so he has to be a little bit careful, right? And you notice, as a result, he sees the Shaker and sees a potential Echo Slam there, so he plays on the defensive, right? Sometimes you need to position yourself very carefully and use Remnants defensively. They can't only be an offensive spell. You really have to find this nice mix where when there's Blink Dagger initiations, you have defensive Remnants to play around them. Here's Topson being a complete madman. You know, this is just him. I don't think anyone else would make this play. But that's just what he does. He just goes way too far. But in general, you notice very clean play there. He's very diligent with his Remnants, right? Commits 1 to get out, commits 1 to get in. Not being afraid to use them, right? They're not a long cooldown spell, not at all. So you want to be using them in fights, right? Don't be hesitant. But what is also good to note is that he's not using 3 of them in the same fight. The times you use 3 of them in a fight is if Seb was to hit a 5-man RP, or there's some support or a core that has some defensive item like a Glimmer or BKB that has been stunned and you want to burst. However, for the most part, when you're against a DK or a Luna, an Earthshaker, you need to be a little bit careful, right? Because they do have stuns. They have mini stuns and a bunch of stuns. So you just have to play on the defensive and consider your opportunities with Remnants, not only in the offensive aspect, but also in the defensive aspect. So in this upcoming situation, OG is ready to go high ground, and what Topson does is very tactical, right? He places down a Remnant and then TP's top. This is interesting, right? Because it's not like the Luna and DK are about to go high ground. However, they are threatening a tier 1 tower. He must feel like he's unkillable. And what this also does is it prevents them from farming, right? His presence simply checks them, right? Another thing it does is it prevents them from TPing back. Obviously now he comes back, but if he was to stay, he would have the potential to completely zone them out. So I want to wrap up the video soon, and I'm going to go over one more fight and talk about his spell usage, because he is so impressive with this hero. Really well practiced. I also want to note that his next item would be an Octarine Core. Definitely not something too common. However, he must feel like there's no good other DPS item and doesn't need a Blink Dagger. Octarine Core is just an item that overall allows you to cast more spells. Okay, here comes the final fight. We're going to go over this and try to look really into depth about his positioning and how he casts spells. So his teammate hits a big RP, and once again just casting Sleight of Fist, but not overcommitting. Interesting, right? He doesn't have remnants. That is definitely one of the main reasons why he's not. However, still here, he's not running in, right? He has no remnants, so he can't get out. That's one reason why he wouldn't go in, but it's also another reason why he can't get out. So instead, he's just staying in the back, throwing out Sleight Chains, and not running in melee range, right? He's staying away from the potential Earthshaker. He's staying away from the Eclipse that was previously casted, staying away from the Dragonite stun, just really playing on the outside. When you're playing as Ember Spirit against a team that has pretty decent ways of killing you, because they can purge your Flame Guard with Enchant, or purge it even with Demonic Purge, and has many of the disables as we talked about earlier, you want to play around the outside of the fight like he did there. And if you're careful, then this hero is really great in drawn out fights, simply because every 8 seconds you pump out a potentially like 500 damage combo, right? With Searing Chains doing 300 damage and this doing 160, if you get a Maelstrom proc, you're actually doing close to 600 damage, which is really insane. So don't always feel the need to use remnants aggressively. Sometimes pumping out Sleight Chains from the back is more than enough. Alright, thank you guys for watching this guide or video on why I think, or I know that Ember will become popular. Definitely will be picked more in this upcoming patch and meta. And if you are interested in more guides just like this one, I make videos and guides for GameLeap.com all the time, where you can learn more about popular mids and meta heroes such as Ember Spirit. And I would definitely love to see you guys on there. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed anything at all, finally, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow, and I will definitely be pumping out content like this, hopefully daily soon, so keep your eyes out. Alright, thanks for watching.